Hello everyone, and today I am doing a little skating adventure and skating from London Bridge to Canary Wharf. It was a nice and chilly day. You'll see why that's a problem. And for this time, I allowed ChatGPT to plan my route. Was it a wise decision or a complete disaster? Well, I suggest watching till the end to find out how it all ended and what my thoughts were at the end. But yeah, let's talk about the routes recommended by ChatGPT first. So first of all, I asked ChatGPT to plan a route for me which would be beginner friendly in London outside of the park, because that actually was my second prompt when I added the fact that I wanted outside the park. And then when I started going through the actual route, it kind of gave me a brief description at the beginning where it suggested me to start at the Scoop, which I will pass in just in a second, and by the town hall, and then going all the way to Canary Wharf along the south bank of Thames, which is not ideal because at the very end, once I kind of get to Canary Wharf, I can't really do it because there is no bridge and no tunnel in that part of the river where Canary Wharf is, so there's no way for me to cross Thames and actually enter Canary Wharf on skates. So that was the first section. Then ChatGPT gave me a map, which also is not ideal because it doesn't cover the full route, and again, it's not getting me where I need to get to. But then it kind of gives like much more detailed route, which is similar, but it starts from London Bridge. It recommends going Tooley Street, crossing Tower Bridge, and then going north bank of Thames, which is much better decision if you look just at the map, because then I'm on the correct side of river, the same side where the Canary Wharf is. So I kind of ended up combining both routes a little bit. So I started a little bit before the Scoop, and now as you can see, I'm skating to Tower Bridge, which I will be crossing, and then I will continue my journey on the north bank of the river. So before I got any much further on the skate, I just wanted to cover a few things which I really found positive planning the route with ChatGPT. So what I really liked at first is that I actually get an idea of the route which I could take, because I literally did not tell from where to where I want to go. That came as a suggestion from ChatGPT, so it just recommended the route randomly, and I found it very convenient, especially if I don't want to think myself too much. Next thing, it really gives a lot of great suggestions, especially that I put in that I want a beginner friendly route. So it suggested like the time of the day, that it's better to skate early in the morning because there's less foot traffic, and that is a really good suggestion because even this skate I did on Sunday morning, which is, to be honest, one of my favorite times to do any skating because it's the quietest time, Sunday morning. But as you've seen, in that specific area around Tower Bridge, London Bridge area, there's always so many people, so you cannot avoid tourists if you're skating in a tourist area, no matter what time of the day or of the week you're skating or traveling. And then it also gives such suggestions which may seem generic, but I think it's still very important that it's added in, like protective gear, making sure you have water, and so on. So I think it has potential, even though it's not ideal, and all the cons I will tell you along the way. What I really enjoyed about the beginning of the route that it suggested me to go by the London Bridge area and crossing Tower Bridge is that it's such a beautiful area because the Tower Bridge itself, and then I'm passing by Tower of London, and St. Katharine's Docks is also such a lovely area to visit, which in my opinion is very little known by people visiting London, because a few times that I visit it's always so empty considering how close it is to Tower Bridge. But if you go to the east side of Tower Bridge, it doesn't matter south or north bank of the river, you actually have such brilliant views of Tower Bridge, and it's so much quieter than on the west side of the bridge, that I find it surprising that so little people know about this. But yes, St. Katharine's Docks is absolutely beautiful area to visit. It has cafes, it has a very old pub as well. So I recommend visiting it if you're in London and enjoying a bit of peace and quiet. And even though I really enjoy St. Katharine's Dock, that's where I started considering if the route is okay, because that's why I had a few speed bumps with cobblestones, very rough cobblestones, because cobblestones are not the same in every area, because some of them are just fine, you can just roll over them and you're okay. But here they were very rough and it was a real challenge. And then I encountered the bridge, which I spent quite a lot of time considering whether to do I attempt to cross it, do I just try to find a way around it. I actually got pretty much all the way on the bridge, but then I saw how the surface looked and I knew there was absolutely no way I can cross it, because my wheels will get stuck in the gaps on the bridge and I'll be in trouble. So I ended up finding a route around, which also was not ideal. There were so many speed bumps with so rough cobblestones that I pretty much ended up probably more walking than skating. And another bridge which I had to cross, it would be okay if it was summer, but first of all it was wet, so that made it slippery. And secondly, as I mentioned at the beginning, it's a very frosty morning, so there was so much frost on the bridge that I don't know how I crossed it without slipping. But yeah, that wasn't a fun part. So that was just at the beginning of my skate. So once I got out of St. Katharine's Dock, I see nicely paved pavements, nice street, and I'm like, oh, finally I can relax and skate. It's easy. And I kind of relaxed. I was enjoying. There was a little hill which I didn't film. I was just a bit too frazzled after the St. Catherine's dock that I needed to take things easy, and I didn't want to break my camera. And there were a few rough spots which I felt like it's okay. It's a little bit, but then I started getting concerned when I started seeing some of the cobblestone streets. But I'm like, it's okay. It's just a street. Pavements are not cobblestones. I'll be just fine. It's not a problem. The pavement is wide enough. What can go wrong? Well, let's see what can go wrong. Then pavement started getting narrower. More rough areas started appearing. Also, there were much more sections where I had to cross cobblestones. I managed to skate through a little bit, just to roll through, but most of the time I had to actually stop and walk through cobblestones. I couldn't roll through them. I just didn't feel that it was safe enough. And I wasn't really enjoying this much, and I started at this point questioning if it was the right decision to do the skate or no. But I was like, it's okay, I can do this, I can manage it. I've done some street skates, I'll be okay. It's just a bit of cobblestones. Pavements are okay, I can manage it. So at some point I built up some confidence after doing a lot of walking for cobblestones. I'm like, you know what? I can actually roll through them. I'm gonna be fine. It's just rolling through. I can do this. I wish. So I fell. I was absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with that. However, my Insta360 camera suffered. So the moment after I fell, I like, oh crap, what happened? So I thought that I actually broke the camera because when I looked at the screen, it was flickering and wasn't reacting to anything. So it's like, okay, I'll switch it off. I'm still gonna finish the skate. How's it gonna end? I don't know. And things got worse. There were cobblestone pavements, not just street. Then I started honestly considering just taking my skates off, giving up, and ending this. But do you think I did? No, because this video is not over yet. So after around 3 kilometers of this lovely skate, I had a little stop, took a little break, and decided to test my camera again. Is my Insta360 really broken or is it working? And thank goodness it was working, but I was really worried to break it because I was one lens down and I still had like half the way to go all the way to Canary Wharf. So there were some areas where I decided not to risk and didn't film, so I just literally packed my camera in my bag to get through them, whether it was walking on my skates or skating, because there was so much more cobblestones. This is officially the worst skating experience. I'm so close. I'm so ready to give up. Taking a break now. And finally, I had some proper skating. Honestly, I was so mentally exhausted at this point that normally the street freaks me out, but this just skating on the street instead of a pavement, trying to cross a lot of small streets and dealing with a lot of other things, it was like just a breath of air, which I really needed. It just felt so good. Just skating on the street, on the smooth surface, and not having to think a lot, and actually finally picking up some speed, because most of my skate was probably slower than I actually walk, because according to Strava, my speed was around 3 kilometers an hour, which is ridiculous. I can comfortably skate on the good surface at around 10 to 12 kilometers per hour, so that was extremely slow for me, and that actually is much more exhausting than picking up proper speed and just moving, than really struggling at a slow speed to go through obstacle, an obstacle, an obstacle, and another obstacle. So I really enjoy this little skate on an actual street, on a smooth surface, without obstacles. And I made it. I got to Canary Wharf. I'm not even thinking about getting to Jubilee Gardens, which is by Canary Wharf station, because I was too exhausted of all of that skating because it was so draining that Canary Wharf Bear was more than enough for me. I got to Canary Wharf and I was done. I was so proud of myself that I actually completed the skate because it was the hardest skate I probably ever done. I finished the skate. Would I recommend that route to anyone? Nope. Would I recommend it to any beginner? Absolutely no. It was really challenging route. Maybe if you want some extreme practice, cobblestones, yeah, go for it. It's definitely a route for that. But not for a nice leisurely skate at all. All those cobblestones, yeah, that was honestly, I walk faster than I was skating in on most of it, on most of that road. And when I destroyed my Insta360 camera, I definitely need to replace the lens guards because one of them completely smashed. I was worried that the camera itself broke because when I stopped filming and I looked at the screen, it was flickering. But it seems to be working now again, so fingers crossed it's all fine. I just need to get new lens guards. I honestly didn't get tired physically during the skate, but I am mentally exhausted because it was really challenging route. But yeah, would I recommend ChatGPT to plan your route? Not really. If you do try it, at least be very mindful and check the route before you skate it because you might need to make a lot of adjustments. Because when I said that there are lots of smooth surfaces, hell no, there weren't a lot of them. Once I crossed like Chadwell Basin, then it was a bit better. Once I got kind of like very close to Canary Wharf, that was a nice skate. But all the way through Wapping, absolutely no, that was so horrible. So yeah, that was my skate. Let me know if you would ever try planning a route for skating with ChatGPT or no. And if you want to see more of my videos, subscribe to my channel and I'll see you next time. Bye!